If we're going to carry all the blessings, all the revelations that we had during these holy days, and open up our packages during the regular weekday, the regular Shabbos and the Shabbos Bereshis, that's a proof how the whole year is going to be. So the fact that Yosef, your real Bar Mitzvah, the day of the birthday, was a couple of weeks ago, in the highlight, where all the great revelations were shining, how are we going to fulfill the mitzvah now that it's after the high holidays? It's after Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. Now that you're dancing, you have to bring all the simchas of the simcha that we have from being honored, to be able to have Rosh Hashanah, Aseret Yom Tshuva, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchas Torah. Now we are dancing continuation from Shabbos Bereshis to the whole year. When you go Mechayil, may Hashem grant you and all of us that we should get the message of the Rebbe, the message of Hasidus, that what it means that we should live every day of our life with the light of Torah, with the light of Hasidus.
Amen.
There's one more letter which I'm going to ask our dear friend Shatia. It's another. You can see. It's another letter of the Rebbe to a particular Bar Mitzvah boy, which can be a lesson to every Bar Mitzvah boy, to every single one of us.
Mazel tov, what a beautiful occasion. If you'll give me a few extra seconds, I thought of a thing that I thought was maybe relevant to share as well. We were talking about Parshas Bereshis, and what an amazing Parsha it is to have gotten your Aliyah, to have celebrated your Bar Mitzvah. The last verse, the last pasuk in Parshas Bo says this. It says, you should make a sign upon your hand, your arm, and between your eyes. And we know that every Bar Mitzvah boy, that's the first thing he does when he starts out, is he makes the tefillin, the mitzvah of tefillin. Why? Because God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand. And there's a Meiradik Ramban on that verse, which relates to Parshas Bereshis, which relates to what we're doing here. Not just you, but all of us in this world, what we're doing here. But how much more so for you, who's Mekabel Ol Malchus Shamayim today, who's accepting the yoke of heaven. And this is a Rambam that if you never learned it, you're going to be excited to hear a few words of it today. What does he say? He says, V'lefichach, therefore it says in Pirkei Avos, treat a small mitzvah like a big mitzvah, a stringent mitzvah like a lenient mitzvah, because all of them are beloved to Hashem. Why? Because in every moment you are admitting or confessing or recognizing that there is a creator. The purpose of all the mitzvahs is to understand that there is an Elohim, there is a God, and to recognize that He is our creator. That was the whole point of creation, says the Ramban. There's no other purpose to creation except that. That's what he writes. The God on high did not desire to come to the lower realms other than that the people, the human beings in the lower realms, us, you, Yosi, Rabbi Steve, would recognize that there's a God that created them. The whole purpose of Right now is Parshas Bereshis. And like I said, how apropos, because it's not only the purpose of every single one of our lives to recognize that there is a creator according to the Ramban, but how much more so when you're Mekabel Ol Malchus Shamayim on this Parsha. This is a defining purpose of your life, a defining purpose of all of our lives. And I'll get to the letter in a second, so excuse me for being a little lengthy rather than the letter. But if I could say a few words about the parents of the Bar Mitzvah boy, Bar Mitzvah man. By the way, I knew this Bar Mitzvah man when he was a little boy chick. A little boy chick, so I guess I'm getting old, but I knew him when he was nothing. And now he's a man, or at least a man chick of some sort. And it's amazing to see. But when we hear about what the Ramban said, you do not have people that embody it, like Rav Asher and Rebbe and Esther, who in our community are a backbone of this community. If you want a role model, if you want an example, who should I look to? Who's Noideh Belokov Shuboro? Who isn't? It's these people, the holiest people in our community. And maybe he'll deny it because every good anav will. But it's true. And it's worth noting. And therefore, the greatest bracha before I read the Rebbe's letter, which is full of powerful thoughts, that some of them I was going to share before Rav Asher told me to just read it straight from the letter. But the greatest bracha that I can give to the Bar Mitzvah boy is this. Shma b'nei musar avicha, v'lo titosh Torah simecha. Listen to the musar of your father, and do not stray from the Torah of your mother. Because these are people that if you follow in their example, whatever path you take in life, but you follow their example, and you keep that verse from Mishlei, chapter 1, in your head, you will have fulfilled your purpose on this earth, as the Ramban states, and this is the Rebbe's letter. The Rebbe says, the following is written in English, this is an intro to it. The following is written in English so that if you wish, you may show it to your friends in the spirit of the mitzvah of love your fellows yourself. Oh no, these are the Rebbe's words. Which if in all matters one needs to help another, how much more so in matters of Yiddishkeit, Torah, and mitzvahs. At first glance, it is strange that the day of the Bar Mitzvah, which is so important that the Zohar declares that for the Bar Mitzvah boy, it is almost like the day of Matan Torah, when Jews first received the Torah and mitzvahs. Yet insofar as Tachnun is concerned, which is omitted even on the so-called minor holidays, if the Bar Mitzvah does not occur on Shabbos or Yom Tov, or any other day that Tachnun is not said, Tachnun is said by the Bar Mitzvah boy as on any ordinary weekday. One of the explanations is as follows. When one considers that human capacities are limited in general, especially the capacities of a boy at the start of the 14th year, yet he still has to assume all the duties and responsibilities of a full-fledged Jew, and moreover fulfill them with joy, in keeping with the rules, serve God with joy. The question begs itself, how is he going to carry out all that is expected of him? Especially being a member of a people which is a small minority among the nations of the world. And even in this country, where one has every opportunity to carry out all religious duties, most people are more interested to engage in the material aspects of life. The answer is that the Torah and mitzvahs have been given by God, the creator of the world and of man, and he knows all the difficulties that a Jew may encounter. God has surely provided every Jew with the necessary strength to overcome any and all difficulties, to live up to his will, for God would not expect someone to do something that is beyond his capacity. If, however, there should be a moment of weakness when carrying out God's will is not in the fullest measure of perfection, God in his infinite goodness makes it possible to, quote, say tachanun, to do tshuva. Indeed, as the Alter Rebbe explains, tshuva is basically for lack of perfection in avodas Hashem. Therefore, on the first day of becoming a full-fledged Jew, and after fulfilling the very first mitzvah, namely Shema, by which a Jew declares his total commitment to God and obedience to all his commandments. The Bar Mitzvah boy does say Tachnun the following morning and afternoon, providing it is a Shabbos or Yom Tov. For the essence of Tachnun is what? It's tshuva, and there is the assurance that nothing stands in the way of tshuva. This knowledge will, moreover, also stand him in good stead when he will involve himself in the great mitzvah of Ahavta L'Reach Kamocha, to bring the alienated closer to Yiddishkeit. For remembering the rule that nothing stands in the way of tshuva, he will eagerly and compassionately apply it to them, especially as in most cases the failure to observe fully the Torah and mitzvos is due to extenuating circumstances. With all the above in mind, and being fortunate in growing up in a family where Yiddishkeit is a living experience in everyday life, how true that is. You will start out on your life as a full-fledged Jew with confidence, and will proceed from strength to strength, and be a source of true pride and joy to your dear parents and family, and to all our Jewish people.